friends, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing all? I hope you are doing well, staying healthy, enjoying life, and must be planning to do something great in life, isn't it? Right? So let's start from building good hobbies to change ourselves first. There is so many good hobbies, as you know, such as reading, writing, painting, crafting, cycling, running, dancing, swimming, cooking, and many more. One of those habits is book reading to improve our English, including reading, writing, speaking vocabulary at the same time, enhancing our knowledge. So let's start. Here we daily read one chapter of novel to do so. Today we are going to read novel named Like It Happened Yesterday, which is written by Ravinder Singh, one of the best-selling author of I Too Had a Love Story and Can Love Happen Twice. If you like love story, you must read those. That is very interesting and breathtaking to seriously. By the way, this is his third book in this sequence, and today we are diving into the third chapter named My World in Black and White. So let's read and see what is there for us, right? So let's start. My brother and I had Raming name. It was quite common in many families to do so. While my parents named me Ravinder, they named my brother Jitendra. But the use of this name was usually limited to our school. At the home, and for that matter in the rest of the town, we were known by our shorter name. I was called Rinku and my brother was called Tinku. Raming pet name as well. Tinku was 2 years younger to me, and by the time he was getting admitted to nursery, I was getting into class first in the same school. One of our oldest picture in which we are together for the very first time goes back to this time. It shows as purchased on the two-seater red tricycle at a photo studio, a day I can still clearly recall. So this is author is telling about his childhood, that what was his name and how his and his brother name was ring with each other, right? And there was one picture, both of brothers were sitting on the tricycle, which remind him his childhood. So he is telling all about those things. It was a Sunday and mom had got us ready by the noon. She made us wear the new clothes she had brought only a day before. The two of us looked nice. We had first looked appreciatively at each other and then stared at our own slaves in the mirror. As soon as we were about to leave, mom applied some talcum powder on our face with her handkerchief. I guess that was the makeup sure to make us look fairer. So this is about like his mama was trying to make over to look cute his kids. After that, we proudly climb, climbed climbed okay not climbed climbed on the dad bicycle in no time. We were at a photography store in the Kacha market. We had been all excited knowing the fact that someone was going to take our picture with a camera. It made us feel special, and on top of it our new clothes made us feel extra special. At the photographer's studio, Dad shook hands with the studio owner and exchanged a few words. All this while, Tinku and I were helping each other to tuck our t-shirt in the rearranging the creases of our half pants. When Dad called, we both ran inside the studio with him. We looked around wide eyed. For us little boys, it was an amazing, amazingly beautiful place. full of the possibility of all sorts of adventure. Till then, we had only seen a studio from outside, and this one offered so many things to explore. There were big stands with white umbrellas on them, inclined at a different angles, while the corners of the rooms were dark. The center was fully illuminated with the light reflecting off those umbrella. There was a lot of light in that place, much more than we would have seen at our home. And my brother and I ran around in the studio and explored everything. There were wires running here and there on the ground. The wall in the front of us had a number of a background option. They were a sort of curtains. We pulled out a few to see how they looked and then pulled out a few more. There was a dressing table with a mirror in a one corner and along with a small plastic comb that had a few missing teeth, some talcum powder and few lipsticks. All those items smelled bad, so as I kept them back as soon as I lifted them. There was a huge curtain in another corner of the room. It was way above our height, so we could not find out what was in there. At that time, we didn't know that the box contained something that would change our lives forever. Soon, door opened and someone walked in. He said hello to us. There was a camera hanging from his neck. He was our cameraman. He was paying us so much attention because we were special for him. And sure enough, he told us that he had got something for us. While we wondered what he was talking about, he walked toward the big curtain at the other end of the room and pulled out a red cat's tricycle for us. Oh, wow! Tinku shouted. Then, as soon as the cameraman placed the tricycle at the center of the room, he ran to grab his seat on it. I too ran after Tinku. We were about to enter into a scuffle when the cameraman intervened and shifted Tinku to the back seat. I loved the cameraman when he did so. Tinku protested, but the cameraman told him that the one who would sit on the back seat would look better in the photo. I silently thanked the cameraman for being secretly on my side. So my brother took the rear seat. So my brother took the rear seat, right, without protest, while I sat in front and jammed my feet into the pedals. Somehow, the front seat with the handle in my hand made me feel more powerful and special. Sitting on that tricycle with the umbrella light focused on us, we were the center of attraction for the cameraman and our father. We took a considerable amount of time to settle down. Well, it was not easy to stay put in one spot or to hold a pose, but the cameraman was an expert. He kept on guiding us, and then suddenly he said, "Smile, kala bachche log," and he did, and we did, and he clicked us. But our smile did not but our smiles did not last long. They vanished as soon as we realized that this place was not a toy shop selling that cute red tricycle to us. It was only a photo studio, and that tricycle was a pro belonging to a studio owner. We never wanted to get up from that tricycle. We wanted to pedal it down to our home. Daddy, ऐसी इच्छा, this is in Punjabi. Daddy, अस्सी इच्छा ला कि घर जावेंगे ना. Daddy, we are going to ride this to home, right? इसी छे ले I sorry, I can't pronounce this Punjabi tone. Let me try. ऐसी ए चला ऐस इसी के चला के घर जावेंगे ना. Okay, so he pronounced like it pronounced like इसी के चला के घर जाएंगे ना. It means that we are going to ride this to home, right? Pink was trying to establish our claim over it. Dad laughed along with cameraman and explained to us while pulling us out that it was not our tricycle to take home. As soon as Tinku heard this, he gripped the front seat and almost dug his feet into the ground, retreating at Dad's attempt to pull him out. While I would understand the truth and got off, my brother was screaming and shouting that tried to scare him with his big eyes and also raised his forefinger to his lip and said, "Shut." It was warning for him to stop shouting and behave himself. And thankfully, in no time, his melodrama was over. I held Tinku's hand in mine, and the two of us followed Dad out of the room. The race cycle remained in the center of the room, alone, surrounded by the focused umbrella light. It was heartbreaking to leave that beautiful toy there. But I will never forget my younger brother's eyes in those last moments when Dad was making the payment at the counter on the other side of the room. At the as the two of us stood next to Dad, another family with two kids entered the studio. The same cameraman led them to the same tricycle. The kids joyfully ran toward it and to the seat, climbed up the seat of the tricycle, which was only a few moments back Rinku and Tinku's tricycle. Our tricycle. The parents lovingly adjusted the position of their kids on the tricycle. It was as if right in front of our eyes, those kids were celebrating their victory. My brother stood calmly and watched everything without blinking. I watched that family and then turned to look at my brother. I felt protective of him. It hurt me that he had wanted something so much and yet he couldn't have it. Soon Dad was through with the payment and asked us to follow him back home. I remember saying those final words to my brother as I continued to hold his hand. अरे ता छोटी साइकिल है अस्सी तय बड़ी साइकिल लावेंगे दिस इज a small tricycle we will buy a bigger one. It was my way of consoling him. With that, I tightened my grip over his hand and we walked out of the studio. Heads, I will stay back. Tails, you will. He suggests. He suggests. The sound of gunfire and the bounders behind which they are hiding in the hill fill in the entering scene. Let me tell you first that from here this is starting a scene of a television which you later got to know that what was all about. So don't be confused. Okay, just read it and then later on in the last you will got to know that what is scene all about this. Okay, so after reaching both of them with his father, they are watching a TV, especially Rinku. Rinku is watching a TV, and in those scenario, what is happening? That description is given here. Okay, heads. I will stay back. Tells you will. He suggests. The sound of gunfire and the bounders behind which they are hiding in the hills fill in the entire scene. He tosses the coin. Its head. Jay shows the coin on his palm to Viru and asks him to immediately leave along with the Basanti and come back with four cartons of ammunition. Soon it all by himself fighting the bandits on the plateau. I believe he will make it. I believe he will kill everyone the way he was done so far. But the next time he opens the chamber of his revolver, there is only one bullet in it. Something tells me that he is going to do wonder with that one bullet. He has to. That is when he spots a bomb over the wooden bridge, which is the only connection between him and the bandits. But time is running out. The bandits have already stepped on to that bridge and are making their way toward him. He has all my attention. It is a dangerous moment. I love Jay and I want him to win, but he is all alone. I cross my fingers, I shout and tell him to wait and not to come out into the open. He is safe there behind the rocks. Besides, I am furious at Viru, who hasn't yet come back with the ammunition. Viru, क्यों नहीं आ रहा? I shout and leap up, wondering why Viru hasn't showed up. Just then, from behind the rock, Jay jumps out into the open to pick up an abandoned revolver. Oh no, Jay! I shout an inch closer to the TV set. His body rolls in the dust. A few more rounds of fire are heard. I am worried about Jay. I pray to God for his safety. He picks up that revolver and walks straight to the bridge. The bandits are advancing from the other side. Oh God, I say and grab my forehead in my hands. Jack takes an aim at the bomb with his revolver in the left hand. Right then, I see a spot of blood oozing out of his body. Sit! Guri lag gayi Jay ko. I scream. Jay has been shot. An injured Jay shoots at the bomb. It explodes. It explodes and the bridge collapses. A few bandits are killed while the rest of them run away. The blood soaked Jay in laying on the ground. Arrives on his horse and calls out Jay's names by heart. Shrinks to see Jay laying like that in a Viru's lap. He says that he wouldn't be able to tell their story to Viru's children. That confirms he is not going to survive. I am about to break down. I still pray to pray to God that my fear should not come true. Jay continued to mutter Viru's name before the finally takes his last breath. He dies. My heroes die. My Jay dies. The sad tune of the harmonica. Jay used to pray, follow his death, and I start crying. Tears roll down my eyes. I grieve for the loss of Jay. I finish watching the rest of the movie in the state of deep agony. If the Thakur wouldn't have finished Gabbar off, I had pledged to find that witch and avenge Jay's death, avenge that Jay death by killing him myself. I spent a sad day thinking about Jay. Occasionally, I cry later in the evening when my father is watching the news in the prime time bulletin. I spot Jay in one of news item. I can't believe my eyes. I shout, "Jay is alive?" Dad looks at me and asks, "Why? What happened to him?" And his name is Amta Bachchan. No, he's Jay. He died this afternoon. I say, my eyes still focused on the man on the screen. There are a lot of people around him. He is singing something for them and smiling. He watched solely today, and the character's death in the movie has made him sad. Mom, I'm Dad's dad. He burst into a laughter that then explained to me that movie and serials are just fiction. News is for real. I listened to him. I listened to him very carefully just before going to bed. I go to a dad. He is in his bed and fast asleep. But this can't wait. I wake up. I wake him up from his sleep and ask Daddy, "You are sure that Jay is alive, na?" So from this story, we can get that what they see around their around there in environment on TV on serials, and so kids are so imaginative. They think that and they think like it is a real. So like we all have experienced this, like in the childhood we used to think that it is a real, but that is not actually. So this story bring us and let us live our childhood. I literally love this chapter, and this all book is all about his childhood. So whenever we read, we easily can connect ourselves to this story, because we all are the same, and we feel in the same way, and we think in the same way at the certain point. So I hope you love this story. I would love to hear your thought in the comment below. Remember to like, share with your friends, and subscribe for daily one new chapter. Thanks for tuning in. Until tomorrow, happy reading.